When we talk about tech, we almost always picture these sleek software interfaces or the latest massive AI startup. But underneath all that cloud computing, it's something incredibly physical. It's loud, and man, is it hot. So today, in this explainer, we're diving deep into the hidden physical infrastructure that literally sits beneath our entire modern digital world, the utterly fascinating business of owning a data center. And looking at this space begs a really fascinating question. What does it actually cost to keep the internet alive? We all just expect our apps to open instantly, right? We want our streaming services to never buffer, our AI prompts to generate in milliseconds. But there is a massive, and I mean massively expensive, physical reality powering all of that everyday convenience. Now, on paper, the business model sounds like an absolute dream. I mean, think about it. You don't have retail customers complaining at a storefront. There are no unpredictable fashion trends you have to chase, no seasonal inventory to manage, and definitely no physical shelves to constantly restock. You essentially avoid almost all the traditional headaches of running a normal business. And honestly, it gets better. You lease out the server space, and you just collect recurring revenue. Your customers are paying you every single month simply to keep their data alive. It sounds like the ultimate form of passive income, doesn't it? Just rows and rows of quietly humming servers, basically printing money. But we'll dive into the actual mechanics, and the reality is a whole lot stranger and, honestly, a lot more brutal. You aren't just collecting effortless rent here. A modern data center might generate millions in annual revenue, sure, but it also consumes enough electricity to power an entire town. Every new customer brings in more revenue, absolutely, but they also create more heat. And in this business, heat is the ultimate enemy. To really understand what you're selling, you have to look at the catastrophic stakes of failure. If the power drops for just 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes, the ripple effects are staggering. Global streaming services go dark, financial transaction networks halt instantly, meaning payments completely stop, and for AI companies, weeks of incredibly expensive computational training can just vanish into thin air. So because of those massive stakes, the core product isn't real estate at all. It's redundancy. Customers are buying an incredibly expensive guarantee that absolutely nothing will ever go wrong. 24 hours a day, every single day of the year. They aren't paying for floor space, they are paying for unbreakable certainty. And the cost just to earn the right to sell that certainty, it is staggering. To start small, say converting an old industrial building, you're spending up to £15 million before you even sign a single customer. Step up to a regional operator delivering real megawatts of capacity, and you're easily looking at £250 million. And to compete at the hyperscale level with the big players like Google, Meta, or Microsoft, a single campus routinely costs over $500 million, with the largest projects easily blowing past £1 billion. But here's what's truly wild, where all that capital actually goes. The building itself, it's just a tiny fraction of the budget. The real fortune disappears into electrical infrastructure. We're talking high-voltage transformers, massive uninterruptible power supply systems, diesel generators, and industrial chillers. It's the ultimate irony, really. You're spending hundreds of millions of pounds basically just to freeze a room full of computers. Without that heavy equipment, you literally just have a ridiculously expensive, empty warehouse. Which leads to a pretty fascinating realization. At a certain scale, your most valuable asset isn't the servers, and it isn't the building. It's access to the grid. A cheap plot of land is totally worthless if it doesn't have the electrical capacity. But a muddy, empty field sitting right beside a major transmission substation, that suddenly becomes one of the most valuable pieces of industrial real estate in the country. If you actually step inside one of these facilities, you quickly realize the layout isn't just for aesthetics, it's a strict, high-stakes thermal calculation. Server racks are divided into very distinct hot and cold aisles. Cold air is pushed with military precision toward the front of each rack, and hot exhaust air is captured separately at the back. Actually, if you make the tiny mistake of letting that cold supply air mix with the hot exhaust air, your cooling efficiency completely collapses. That one simple layout error can add millions to your annual utility bill. And because heat is so incredibly expensive to manage, the entire industry absolutely obsesses over one specific metric, PUE, or power usage effectiveness. A perfect PUE of 1.0 would mean every single cent you spend on electricity goes directly to powering the servers, with absolutely zero waste on overhead stuff like cooling, fans, or lighting. In reality, older facilities often run at a pretty terrible 2.0 or even higher, which means they're wasting as much power as they use. But the hyperscale gold standard today? It's 1.1.
Now, it sounds like a tiny decimal difference compared to 1.3 or 1.5, right? But when electricity is by far your largest operating expense, shaving off a few tenths of a point saves millions of pounds a year. It's an engineering obsession that pays out massive dividends.
And this brings us to a huge wrench in the works right now, the AI heat paradox. Years ago, a typical server rack pulled maybe 5 kilowatts of power. Then early AI models pushed that to 40 kilowatts. Today, a modern AI server rack can demand well over 100 kilowatts. The physical building hasn't changed, but the physics absolutely have. Every single leap in computing power demands exponentially more electricity, which creates massively more heat, which forces incredibly expensive reinvestment in cooling tech. So to guarantee that 24/7 certainty we talked about earlier, operators basically have to build a mechanical Noah's Ark. Every critical system must exist twice or sometimes even 3 times. We're talking redundant utility feeds from the national grid, duplicate backup systems, absolute armadas of backup diesel generators, and parallel cooling loops that are just waiting to instantly take over if the primary system fails. Now, to an outsider, all those idle duplicate machines just look like ridiculous, wasteful over-engineering. But to a cloud provider running global infrastructure, it's priceless insurance. When unexpected downtime costs millions per minute in lost transactions and interrupted operations, paying a premium for a bulletproof, redundant fortress suddenly looks like an absolute bargain. Which brings us to the ultimate truth of this business. Reputation compounds exactly like interest. 2 data centers might look completely identical from the outside, but inside the balance sheet they are worlds apart. The facility that generates the most profit isn't always the newest, and it isn't always the biggest. It is simply the one that has earned absolute trust. Because in a business selling certainty, losing trust once means you might never, ever win it back. It's just an absolutely incredible industry, balancing billions in infrastructure to guarantee that our digital lives never blink out. So I'll leave you with this thought. Next time you seamlessly stream a movie or effortlessly prompt an AI, take a second to think about the humming, perfectly cooled, redundant fortress making it all happen. Who is ultimately paying for the certainty behind your screen? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep asking the big questions.
If you enjoyed this video and want to watch more amazing content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.